Hey y'all, Eli here, and as you guessed it, right after I sent my first PSA submission for 30 bucks a piece, literally the next day, PSA announces submissions for $18 a card for subscribers. Now, fortunately, most of the cards I sent earlier were more expensive, so they wouldn't have qualified for the earlier rate anyway, or the lower rate anyway. But I did have a lot of cards I went to cross grade, and so this will be my second submission. So I want to show you some of the stuff that I'm cross grading from CGC, which I thought I got a pretty good deal on. So while I'm going at it, right next to me I've got my girlfriend. She's sorting cards. She's also a big Pokemon fan. There she's going at it. So she's right next to me while I'm going through some of these cards. So here we are. I actually got a new camera here, an overhead camera that's very fancy for recording all these cards down here. Very proud of it. It's got a zoom feature and everything. Anyway, as you can see on the top left, I've got my spreadsheet. I actually went through and grabbed a bunch of CGC slabs I thought I got at a pretty good discount and calculated first the cost I spent on them, adding $18 for the grading fee over here, and then I haven't yet calculated the break-even grade, but I did go through and calculate what I thought they would get at PSA. Now, of course, you can't ever really be sure of what you're going to get, so a lot of my things that cards that I think are actually going to get a 10, I still, to be safe, pretty much made them all 9.5s or 9.75s. But you can see that many of these cards, as long as they get a 9 or higher, I turn a profit, and if some of them get a 10, it'll be a pretty big one. So I did an estimated value over here too, which is pretty much weighting. So if it says I got a 9.5, I weight it evenly between a 9 value and a 10 value on its estimated final value. So I'm going to show you some of these cards that I'm sending. These are some that I'm not sending. So I got these 3 Charizards that were actually graded pretty well at CGC. I think they could get 10s, but honestly, a 10, I picked them up for like 15 bucks a piece, but even at a 10 at PSA, they're only worth about like 37 bucks. So I would need to get a 10, and I'd still only make like 5 bucks. So I think I'm just going to try to offload these on their own in the CGC slabs. But one thing I'm pretty proud of getting are these Scream promos. I got several at once. I've actually never owned Scream promos before, even though I think they're awesome. I picked up 6 in total, 5 of them from CGC grades. And, you know, they were just, like, much cheaper than they would normally be. So, like, look at this Psyduck, right? I picked up a Psyduck 9, which is, where is he? Whoa, where'd he go? Maybe I have another one in there. Anyway, a Psyduck 9. At CGC for 168 bucks, and you know, those are worth quite a bit as 9s and 10s. The Eevees, I think, have the highest upside potential. So if you look over here, I've got the 2 Eevees, one graded as a 7, which I spent 77 on, and the other one graded as a 9, 138 on. And if you look over here, the Eevee will be worth a lot if it comes back as a 10. But even if it doesn't, I think on each of these cards, I'm probably going to pull 30 to 50 buck profit and an outside chance at more than that. One of the weird things about this Eevee, actually, is I don't know if you can see it up close. I'm going to try to see, but there's a really little dot up there. Whoops. Let's see if I can get it focused. And so I actually don't know how PSA is going to treat this. There we go. That's it. Hopefully it focuses. Yeah, so if you look really closely, right around the top right there, there's just a dot. That's the only imperfection on the entire card. And I'm really curious if PSA is going to see it, and if so, how much they'll dock me for it, because other than that, it's flawless. Still need to crack these out, but I wanted to show them in the slabs first so you saw what they were like before. Then I've got one of these Dream League Pikachus, which are really cool. I've been wanting to get one for a while as well. I'd be happy with it, honestly, in a 9, but as you look in the spreadsheets for pretty much every one of these cards, maybe it's because the market's down right now, I got every card at a pretty terrific price. I got this one for 31 bucks, and if it grades a 10, it'll be worth like 120. If it grades a 9, it'll be worth, I think, like 58, 60 bucks. So there just seems to be like a lot of upside here, which is really strange to me, that people missed out. I guess one of the big things, and we talked about this in the Pokenomics chat, is that they're going to be gone. Like, my money's going to be tied up for 5 or 6 months. So it's like I'm sending it out, and then I'm not going to see it for a long time, and is it the most efficient use of money to buy some of this stuff to make? I mean, honestly, it's a pretty good rate of return. It's still going to be, anywhere from 20 to 50% returns on these cards, but the money's going to be tied up for a while, and not just that, but we really don't know what the market's going to be like in 6 months with so many people sending cards to PSA. I feel pretty good about the Munch promos, the Scream promos, because tons of them have been graded already. I don't foresee like 100% increase in graded cards now that the grade is down, but some of these other cards, I read Pikachu is also really graded, but I'll show you in a bit some of these other cards that very well might have greater populations sent over the next several months that would kind of bring down the value when you've got a lot of competition. So I think a great example is here, this Fusion Strike Mew. He looks pretty great. There are pretty much none graded right now at PSA. I spent, this is like a $70 card. I spent $96. This is flawless. And I think that actually if this comes back at 10 and it's one of the first to come back, it could be worth 200, 250, I don't know. But obviously lots of people are sending this card right now in to get graded. Oh, here's that last Psyduck we were missing from earlier. I picked up this Chonkachu. Honestly, because I picked him up, as you see here, where is he? For a little more than he would cost on his own in a slab. Once again, he's in pretty terrific condition. I think he has a good shot as a 10 out of 10. But it's just like one of those things where it's difficult to lose on these cards that have already gotten lots of grades, and there's not risk of much more coming back, because pretty much everything, including grading fee, this card's going to be 210. And if it comes back a 9, I made a profit, and if it comes back a 10, I made a much bigger profit, So this Mew was cheap. I got this Pikachu. It's the time of the Japanese Pikachus. Actually, a few days ago, sent out the English version of this card, the Latios and Latios GX. People love it. Once again, another flawless card. Got a 9.5 on the old scale at CGC, so I think it has a pretty good shot at a 10. And it's, once again, one of those cards where, in this condition, if it came back at 9, I made maybe 20 or 30 bucks, but it's worth over 400 as a 10. And I spent, let's see how much I spent on it. I spent 210 on it altogether. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. Then I've got some other cards here. We've got Umbreon from Celebrations. Many of these I got, if you look, at almost the same cost as buying them raw. So I felt good to already have like a verified third-party opinion on these. Gardevoir and Sylveon. This is like one of the surprising things about these a little earlier on. These Sylveons pretty much have Sylveons, Espeons, and Gardevoirs. And it's just crazy to me because some of these are 8 and 8.5s, and I'm looking at them, and maybe there's some imperfection I can't see, but they look really good. And so I bought, for example, 3 of these Gardevoirs, and this one looks like a 10, and the other 2 I bought were 9s and 8.5s. Once again, at a good cost, but like this one was the best of the 3, but it was also the cheapest of the 3 and at the lowest grade, and it's just kind of crazy to think about. So yeah, those are the cards I'm planning to cross-grade. Oh, one more also. Actually, this was the first card I ever broke out of a slab. It's always terrifying to do your first time, but a Rayquaza GX. I also got this one for, I want to say, 40 bucks. And I'm going to go ahead and cross-grade that one as well. I just got to break it out of the rest out of the slabs. And then I've got a few cards that I'm planning to grade that I didn't send out under the $30 tier, but I feel under 18 might be worth grading for one reason or another. Some of these modern cards, I feel there are very few graded at PSA right now, actually. Almost none for some of these cards. And these are, $20 to $30 cards. And, normally I wouldn't say it'd be a great idea to grade, that sort of thing, but when the price is only 18 bucks, and if it comes back before other people's come back or before there's a ton graded, if they get 10s, I feel like there's going to be a huge premium at the beginning, and you've already seen like lots of people doing that by sending them off even at the $100 tier and coming back and getting a premium. So maybe, this is me and a million other people doing this, but I think that even if these come back at 10, as long as or 9s, as long as I get rid of them pretty quick, I think they'll retain their value for at the beginning. And then, wow, something fell out. Sorry about that. And then, yeah, just got some older cards that I had been collecting. This Full Art Trainer that I feel could get a good grade. Solgaleo, Palkia, This Umbreon VMAX, which once again, there's very few graded right now, but it's a fan favorite, and if you're one of the first 9s or 10s to come back, I feel like there's a lot of upside. And then I've got one older card. I guess should take off that LP sticker I've got on it, but the Hypno looks pretty good right now. All it's got is, if you look carefully, it's got some whitening on one of the whoops, a little bit of whitening there on the bottom right. You can barely see it, but other than that, it looks pretty good. It's a little bit off-centered, but feeling confident about that. So anyway, this is my now second ever submission to PSA. I just got to crack it out and send it for 18 bucks a card. I'm excited to see when it comes back in freaking 5 months if I made good plays. But right now I'm experimenting with a lot of the different stuff to see what sort of thing works. I also bought a bunch of bulk, which I'll talk about soon, and about how feasible that is. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll have a CGC update later on based off the cards I've been tracking to see if their easier grading has continued. But as I mentioned, these CGC cards I'm sending, almost all of them, were pretty much graded in their first set when they were harder graders. Thanks, and have a great one.